And we are back with another.
Little old podcast from Pasadena.
I'm your co-host, Victor Cass, retired police sergeant with over 30 years experience all with the Pasadena, California Police Department. And I'm here with.
Alyse Beal, the historian.
And today's episode, I noticed that Alyse thought to bring out a little wine.
Cheers. Cheers.
I take it that
Why
this has
not?
something to do with the episode.
Yeah, it's a continuation of our discussion from last week because, we were talking about a few things that we didn't have time to finish, a few stories that are crucial to Pasadena's lore that I think our listeners need to hear.
Yes. I think one of the things we talked about was, Pasadena's relationship with alcohol, and in particular with the temperance movement.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you're interested in, I'm interested in kind of learning about the temperance movement in Pasadena and,
Yeah.
Who was involved and which political party was kind of leading the charge.
Mm-hmm.
What did you find out in your studies?
I don't know why you would specifically ask me the one thing that I just didn't answer, okay? Why do you do these things to me?
I thought it sounded interesting.
You're like, I don't know. Let me know the answer, though.
But wasn't there some guy, this one dude in Pasadena who was like kind of leading the
Yes.
charge? Wait, who was this?
There was this one troublemaker.
Mhm.
Can we say that he's responsible for the incorporation of the city of Pasadena?
I mean, loosely. We can loosely say that was one of the mitigating factors. They were going to incorporate the city anyway.
One troublemaker
Yes.
responsible for it all.
So Pasadena was incorporated in June of 1886. One of the kind of the little sparks that inspired them to, kind of speed this along was a little dispute they were having with a prominent business owner.
Yeah.
In what today is known as Old Town Pasadena.
Mm-hmm.
Back then it was kind of like the main downtown portion of the city.
Yes.
And it happened to be a business owner who ran a billiards hall.
Yeah. So the founders of Pasadena, and this man in question that we're talking about, Jerome Beebe.
Beebe or Beebe? Beebe?
Beebe.
Okay, Beebe. Mm-hmm.
Beebe. I'm going with it.
Sounds like imbibe. That's what I'm going to do right now.
Yeah. I'm going to imbibe this wine right now.
So what's old Jerome Beebe doing here?
He was one of our founders, actually. He was one of the original ones that came over and, probably not the first, but he helped to set things up here in the Indiana colony.
He was an entrepreneur.
Yes, he was. So he opened up in 1884 a billiards hall at 49 East Colorado.
I spent many a fond time in a pool hall myself.
Mm-hmm. And so in this building, there is a building there, but I don't think it's originally the one.
Yeah,
it was 87, and he first started the saloon in 84, so it must not be the original. It's still old as fuck, though. Let's be real. So yeah, he had his billiards. He was selling also cigars, smoke things. He slowly started to sell alcohol, some booze there.
Surprise.
And so Pasadena was like, you just started a saloon. You can't do that.
I'm not sure saloons were one of the authorized businesses that you could have opened up in Pasadena in the mid 1800s.
No, literally our founders, our businessmen were signing things saying I promise to not sell alcohol at my store, to go along with the Pasadena, Pasadena's plan for themselves.
It would have been considered a dry town.
It was a dry town. They didn't drink.
Very religious, very dry. Temperance movement was big.
Yes, you had the Women's Christian Temperance Union, the WCTU, was very big in Pasadena. A lot of the Pasadena ladies were very into that and, pushing their husbands.
Fighting against the cursed drink.
Fighting the cursed drink, yeah. So, yeah, Jerry set up the first saloon in 1884 against everyone's will. But, he was like a real American, and he wasn't about to go down without a fight. There was a big uproar, such an uproar. He felt so threatened that he needed to go around with
Not one,
loaded
but
revolvers.
two.
Two loaded revolvers.
In case one of those teetotaling women stormed into his business.
I mean, it probably in case one of their husbands came in. Let's be honest.
Sure, the husbands were already there in the little dream.
It's the
Playing
husbands. The husbands. I mean, probably some of them. Yeah. Let's be honest.
Let's get real.
So his threat was like, I will kill any man dead. I will shoot any man dead that threatens my business. He, at one point, hired an armed guard for when he wasn't in his saloon, to protect all the liquor in case some crazy Pasadena lunatics break in and try to liberate the wine.
This might have been Pasadena's first bouncer, by the way.
Yeah.
Didn't think of
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So meantime, Pasadenans are like, what can we do legally? Like, he's right. He has the right to sell this. What can we do?
Because there's no official city ordinance yet against this, because there's no official city yet.
Yeah.
It's not incorporated.
So, he established this in 1884. They decided the only way to beat him, and not just him, but to make sure that no one else comes along and decides to set up a saloon or sell alcohol, go the Pasadena way. We would incorporate it so that we have those laws on the book to prevent that from happening.
Yes.
So that was 1886. So he was still selling stuff in his saloon for those 2 years. I think he moved to LA after.
But then at one point he kind of got so upset about how much pressure and all the nonsense that his fellow Pasadena's were giving him. He actually offered, look, I'll sell you the saloon.
Yeah. They were so uppity, and he was very I don't know what the word would be for it was. He was hanging out an American flag just to prove his what kind of
upstanding
citizen he was, and he's like, hey, just settle down, guys. If you're really that upset, I will sell you my saloon for $7,000.
You know how much $7,000 is in 1880 money?
And Pasadena's are like, we will absolutely not be buying your saloon for any amount of money. Yeah. You crazy man. Yeah. I guess we're just gonna have to incorporate our city now.
$500,000 today.
Yeah, I should have looked up how much, but yeah, that is an insane. Okay, even right now, $7,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah, but so he offered them, hey, if you can buy me out, I'll leave, and they gave him the middle finger, and so whatever happened to Beebe in the end? Did he continue his imbibing business here?
He did. I think he sold to someone else and then moved to LA. He had a billiards hall, some smoke. I don't know. He died in 1929, though. So
he probably had a more lucrative business in LA downtown somewhere,
I don't know, because later on, I think he was a mechanic at some point. I don't know.
It's just interesting that today, as we all know, this neighborhood where his saloon was, his pool hall, Old Town, is ground zero for Pasadena's nightclubs, bars, saloons, pubs.
Yeah, it's right in the middle of all of that.
He's almost kind of the founding father.
My wine is disappearing when I put it in front of City Hall.
That's right.
Thanks, Pasadena. Okay, so more wine. I have another crazy wine story for you.
Let me get it. It takes place in Old Town.
Where was the Grand Opry House in Old Town?
Everything took place, by the way, in Old Town in the 1800s in Pasadena, pretty much. When it comes to these big, kind of big historical or scandalous stories, of which we have some for you today.
So, 1888, Pasadena had been incorporated for about 2 years now. Mm-hmm. So it's illegal to be selling alcohol.
Second oldest city in Los Angeles County, by the way. The only city older is LA.
I think they made some exceptions for the fancy ass hotels, because it's hey, we're trying to draw people to Pasadena. No one's going to want to come and stay here if they can't have a glass of wine.
So they allowed some wine in the fancy hotel.
Yeah, so very specific instances, very specific, and I'll get to that in a little bit. But not the Grand Old Opera House.
Right.
The Grand Old Opry House.
Tennessee. Here would just be called Opera House.
Okay, the Grand Opera House.
In
the
Pasadena.
Grand Opera House in Pasadena. The police found out. He's just known as this ununiformed officer.
No, it's uniformed. It's a uniformed officer.
Who was?
But just a name. We don't know the name. But I believe it was uniformed.
He found out that they were selling alcohol at the Opera House.
And being the conscientious, dedicated cop that he was,
he went undercover. He went undercover working there. He heard that there was an African American man working there who was like the middleman between the Opera House and getting the patrons their booze. So he kind of friendlied up to him, working together, and he's like, oh, I'm just so parched. I'm gonna go get a drink, but it's gonna be a long time because I have to go all the way out to city limits. So it's gonna be, I'll be a while, but I'm just really thirsty. So I'm sure you'll understand. And the guy was like, hey, you don't have to go that far. I could get you some alcohol right here.
Right over here.
So he takes him across the street to Mr. Dolan's house.
Not BB's place, by the way. It's another
not
guy.
Beebs.
Beebs.
And so Mrs. Dolan, the wife, opens the door, and the man from the Opera House says, hey, he's cool. He's good. You can tell him that.
Called a speakeasy later, by the way. One of these kind of places.
Yeah. So, where was I? So he sells him the alcohol, and he's arrested for it.
The undercover cop arrests this guy.
Dr. Dolan is arrested
by the cop.
Yes, the owner of that home, because there was a shit ton of alcohol in his home. And so his excuse was, my wife was expecting, she's pregnant, and part of the medicine, the doctor said we had to stock up on certain liquors and things.
Because everybody knows that what a pregnant woman needs before giving birth is alcohol.
She was going into confinement, so I just had to get a whole bunch of alcohol right before she went into confinement. And he was saying in court that hold on, there's a quote. The court dismissed it by Dr. Dolan saying it was his wife who did it, not him.
Blame it on the wife.
Blame it on the wife.
Always the wife.
Yes. But the thing is that while this police officer was in Dr. Dolan's home, or Mr. Dolan's home, sorry, he was apparently either snooping around, or Mr. Dolan really wanted to make a fuss out of this because he's upset, that his little operation got busted. So they started saying that this officer was snooping around the woman's belongings, the wife's belongings.
Sniffing panties and stuff?
Yeah, quote, smelling around a woman's private apartments, snooping. They literally, in the newspaper, there were a whole bunch of O's, snooping around. And so, it became such a big thing. And other officers, other people in the city would make fun of him snooping around through a woman's things.
I mean, cops are notorious for, ribbing and teasing each other.
Yeah.
Once they get a little nickname.
But it feels like, a lot of the cops were like, maybe you shouldn't have busted this place because we go drinking there after hours.
Thanks a lot, buddy.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So yeah, where was it?
So I think because of all this ribbing, this heretofore unnamed Pasadena cop ended up just resigning and leaving the force.
They said that he was blackguarded. Was that shamed out of?
Maybe it's blackguarded is a mixture of blackballed and I don't know, but he left the force because of this. The cheesing got too much for him, probably. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. I thought you would like this. The paper said, basically, alas, the sneak saloon was broken up.
The Sneak Saloon. So it was a Snuka Saloon.
Snuka Saloon broken up.
Yeah. Well, it was rough. It was rough trying to get a drink in Pasadena back in the
rough,
in
like
the old days.
oof.
Cheers.
I know. Let's drink to that.
Yeah. But aside from Dr. Dolan's little speakeasy, and Beeb's saloon, and whatever little intoxicating liquors you may or may not have been able to get at Pasadena's Grand Opera House, not Old Opry.
It was a slip of the tongue. I know. Grand Ole Opry is not your thing.
There were other prominent hotels in Pasadena where you could get some fine wine. In fact, one of the most prominent at the time, not the other older prominent one because that had burned down already, but one of the most prominent at the time was going to host a visit by the President of the United States. Why don't we tell our viewers about this interesting episode? Who was the president? It was
Harrison.
Benjamin Harrison. You guys all remember him, right?
Yes. So Harrison was going, I think, on like was it cross country in his railroad, like on a train. He was taking this massive trip of the country. He was coming to California, gonna come to Pasadena, and so Pasadenans were hyped about this.
Yes.
They were so excited for the president to come. They had on Marengo this massive arch of, I think, calla lilies, oranges, like dripping orange juice, welcome to our guest.
We were very proud of Pasadena. We wanted to show our chief executive just what a wonderful place he was visiting.
The entire city was decked out in flowers. Everyone had decorated. He did like a loop around the city in his car. So he did also go to like the Raymond. He went around,
Right.
He toured a little bit, but he was staying at the Hotel Green.
So for those of you who are familiar with this place, the Hotel Green, a portion of it, the second built portion still exists today in Old Town. It's known as the Castle Green. It's a condominium complex today. Back in those days, it was a hotel. There were two major buildings. There was the one on the Stat side, which no longer exists, and then there was the bridge that went across Raymond, and it attached to the second built side that still exists today.
Yeah.
Right. Now, was this there? So this reception for the president, is it in the old Stat side or is it in the second? Because I want to say it was the second building in that.
No, I think that was before
that side was built.
The other side was built, because that side, I want to say it was like 1906, 1905, something, 1900 something,
right.
where the other side
was
was
built.
built.
1991 when this was
Yeah.
built. So that would have been the original Stat side. That's where the reception for the president would have been held.
So he's here for 2 nights, April 23rd and April 24th. On the second day that he's here, Pasadena presents him with a gift, a very special gift, a floral wreath in the shape of an inverted wine glass. Because the story was, it was a thank you to President Harrison, because the night before he was offered some wine, and very Pasadena, like, he upended his wine glass. Nope, I will not drink any wine. No wine for me.
Keep in mind, you guys, that as any good Pasadena historian knows, there's what really happened, and then there's the lore of what happened, which had become part of the fabled tales of Pasadena, pop and authentic history.
Yes.
Alyse and I were talking about this story where he puts the wine glass over and President of the United States at the fanciest hotel in Pasadena. Really? I mean, it sounds to us like a little Pasadena lore to help promote the holding constitution of our good citizens.
Right, because Reed says that for this party, they had stocked it with like 5 different kinds of wine and Roman punch, which was very popular at the time. I feel I should give you the recipe because it sounded very yummy. It was with lemonade orange juice, champagne and rum with a little meringue on top.
You can actually make that Roman punch cocktail today. Just
Yeah.
follow
I want one.
Alyse's
I want to try it. It sounds good.
Just don't get. It sounds like you get really sick from it too. So
Yeah, maybe I'll just have.
Yeah. So they're entertaining the president. They're having a banquet in his honor, and they, as Alyse points out, they have all this wine.
Yeah.
You know, that they're stored, ready to go for that evening.
Mm-hmm.
Then what happens?
Okay, so the Pasadena historians and the newspapers say that there were these African American waiters from Los Angeles who were working at the Hotel Green that night. Mm-hmm. And seeing all of this wine here supplied for the party and no one drinking it. Hold on, there's a quote here. Lavishly provided, but was little used. Mm. So they undertook to save it themselves by drinking all of the wine.
They liberated the wine from the dry mouths of the.
Somebody had to drink it, right?
You know.
Apparently,
there was also a tasty menu item that they felt no one was going to be diving into, and they decided to eat that too.
Okay, so yes, I saw this on the Castle Green website, and I don't know where they got their source from. I'm not saying they're wrong. I just don't know where it's from, and I would like to know where it was. They were saying that it's kind of a different story, that the waiters got drunk and then ate all the fish before like all the guests even arrived, so that when the guests arrived, the teetotalers there were pissed because all they had to serve people was wine.
Yeah.
But that kind of doesn't make sense to me though, because
they drink the wine, or was there wine there? And if there was no food, I mean, how'd they have this dinner?
Yeah, and there was this huge thing about wine not being served, him not drinking the wine. So I don't know. I'm not sure.
You have to check the sources. I mean, the Pasadena historians know that when you're going to go this far back, I mean, you go to Hiram Reed, you go to Wood, you know, some other people. You can check the sources for that, but I'm sure that part of the story is true, part of it is apocryphal.
Yes. You know. And I mean, even the Pasadenan story, because you know they were very upset, some of them, about alcohol being mentioned at all in connection to the president visiting their city, because they saw this as this opportunity to show off Pasadena or what they felt that Pasadena should be. And this little alcohol fiasco had ruined it. So I can totally see them, you know, trying or wanting to have this story for the papers, like, oh no, actually the president came, but he didn't drink any. You know, we were good hosts. We had the wine for him, but he
because this is how we roll in Pasadena. You know, but come to find out that there are some like firsthand accounts of people who said, "No, wait a minute."
Yeah,
I was there.
There were quite
a few president drinking some wine,
saying like, "Hey, I saw him drinking the wine." Yeah. Notably, the prominent Pasadenans sitting right next to him were asked about it, and they're like, "Nope, he did not drink any wine at all. Drank nothing. Nothing happened.
I see nothing.
I see nothing." But a Pasadena reporter for the LA Times admitted, "I saw the president drinking wine at the Hotel Green."
There you go. So
he probably was. Let's be honest. Yeah. They supplied tons of alcohol for the whole party.
If I'm there at the Hotel Green in like 1891, I'm the president. I'm drinking wine.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, let's be real.
Yeah.
You know. So that's kind of an interesting story. Yeah, that's one that if you go on the Castle Green tours today, you'll definitely see or hear that story being told. It's kind of one of their beloved tales of how all the wine was consumed prior to the banquet held for Benjamin Harris.
I know.
He wasn't the only president that visited Pasadena in that time period, right? Didn't Garfield come by for a visit?
You're really putting me on the spot.
Anyway,
like, why don't
Garfield came? Because I think that's
why am I thinking Hayes too?
Possibly Hayes too, but I think one of the reasons they named this school, because we did have a school called Garfield. They may have named that after he was assassinated, but I'm pretty sure.
No. Garfield's widow lived here. That's the Garfield connection.
Maybe that's the Garfield connection.
Yeah.
His widow lived in Pasadena.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, we did have another president come.
Might have been Hayes.
Next episode.
Yeah. So yeah, these are some interesting stories about wine in our beloved city.
Yeah.
Kind of a piggyback on our last week's episode with the what brothers were they?
The Etienne brothers.
Etienne, I was gonna say Riboli, but that's the San Antonio winery family. I don't know.
The Etienne Bros, and it is interesting how like this battle started in '84 with Jerry Beebe and continued through the 1920s, and then Prohibition went.
And believe it or not, there are a few speakeasies you can go to today in Pasadena.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, all in Old Town.
There
are. Anyway, I guess that's it for this week. What are we talking about next week? Something good?
No. Think of it.
As she drinks her last bit of wine. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we will be back next week with
another little old podcast episode from Pasadena.